What can I say, my friends? Since the day I have found this magic pill, this magic emotional painkiller, my life is totally different. My life is totally changed. All you have to do is every morning take three small pills, and all the emotional pain from your life, all the unhappiness is gone. Now I know you want me to give you the name right now. And believe me, I will tell you the name of this magic tablet, this magic pill. And the name of this magic pill, the ultimate emotional painkiller, is spirituality. Well, this spirituality is not like that, this chemically composed ecstasy or some other drug that they are selling in some parties. No, I'm talking about spirituality. Well, it looks funny that when I say that spirituality is a magic pill that removes all the emotional pain. But the fact is, every time I meet people who are on some spiritual path and I talk to them about why they started their spiritual journey, what motivated them, what initiated their spiritual journey, and you can trace down the answer usually to one situation. For some reason, they were totally unhappy with their life. Maybe they could not achieve success in the material world, and that's why there was unhappiness. Maybe they didn't had the right partner, or maybe they didn't had enough money, or whatever the reason, there was unhappiness. Or sometimes they have everything and still there is emptiness, unhappiness. It looks like you have all the things of the world, but still there is no satisfaction. You can't feel you are at home. And then one day someone tells them, they discover about spirituality. Until now they have tried everything. They have even tried medication, medication, these pills, and even medication has not worked. So finally someone introduces them to meditation. They have found spiritual path, they have found some spiritual teaching, and which they believe that if I attain spiritual enlightenment, or if I grow spiritually, somehow all the problems in my life will disappear. And what are the problems? The problems are not the situations out there. The problems are the inner feelings. Somehow, for so many people, spirituality is nothing but, in their mind, the ultimate emotional painkiller. That once they have this, it's like as if there is this magic pill. Once you have it, once you become spiritually enlightened, all the problems of life disappears. Unfortunately, even after finding spiritual path, that doesn't happen for many people. So even on the spiritual dimension, there are causes for unhappiness. And if you can find out that, and if you can deal with that, it is possible to attain balance in that area as well. So I believe all the different kinds of reasons of imbalance on the spiritual dimension can be traced down to variations of three situations. The first one, for many of us, we do not experience our spiritual truth. And when I say our spiritual truth, I do not mean that we don't know if there is God or not. We don't know if there is some higher power, or the universe is an intelligent system or not. No, that's not what I'm talking. I am not talking about discovering the God. I am talking about discovering the connection between us and the God. I am talking about a connection which not only we have with the God, but every other person alive or dead has with the God. Even the rapist, even the killer, even the terrorist, even the sinner, even they are connected with the God the same way as we are connected with the God. And how can they not be? Because, God is, if God is the creator, or if the God is the ultimate truth, then the God encompasses everything, including you, me, and everyone who we feel is a sinner or a killer or any other torturer as well. My point is, many of us do not feel fulfilled at the spiritual dimension because we just don't feel that connection at all. We don't feel that there is any connection between we and the universe. So that is the first cause. The second cause for many people to because they are unhappy on this dimension is that somehow they feel that there is this connection. They know that there is something much bigger than them and that they are connected to it. But still, they do not have the right system or the right path to feel this connection regularly. And the third cause for unhappiness on the spiritual dimension is that people often, they feel this connection. They not only feel, they know that they are connected with the entire universe. They are part of the entire universe. They know that something higher exists, and yet they have found a path for that, and yet they feel unhappy because the path that they have chosen is not the right path for them. And yes, it is possible that people can choose a path which goes to the same destination where they want to go, but that is not the right path for them, and on that part they feel frustration because they do not find they are arriving sooner. That is because the path is not in accordance with their own energy. Anyways, we could dig out hundreds of different causes and still nothing will solve. The one thing that will solve is the one solution that will deal with all of these three situations is finding the right spiritual path. Imagine you are going on a mountain trekking somewhere deep in Himalayas or somewhere else where there are mountains, and you have decided that you are going to stay at a particular house. Someone said to you that there is a house where you can stay for the night, and this house is at the top of some mountain. But by the time of evening you are already lost. You don't see the house, you don't see how to reach the house. And by the time night came, clouds have come, very heavy dark clouds. It started raining because of the clouds. There are no stars, there is no starlight, there is no light from the moon. It is absolute darkness. You are frightened in the mountain. You don't know in the whether there is some house or not, and where are you going to spend your night in this forest at the base of the mountain. And while you are concerned with this and still walking, suddenly there is a flash of lightning. You know, the thunder and lightning. So whenever lightning happens, for 2 or 3 seconds there is a sudden brightness in the sky. You can see, in the light you can see everything around. And in this flash of lightning, you saw on your right there is a mountain, and on top of that mountain there is a structure like a house. You saw the house. Now the lightning has stopped. Now there is again darkness. But when there was lightning, you saw that the house is there. Now, even if you do not see in the darkness after that, now there is a knowing inside you, because in those 2 seconds of lightning, flash of lightning, you know for sure, you saw that. So this knowing is now yours. Nobody can take away this knowing from you. You know that it is in this direction, I will keep going. Eventually I will reach there. Spiritual paths, my friends, are designed, or the purpose of any spiritual path is to give us this flash of lightning time at time. With this, during this flash of lightning, we can see our connectedness to the universe. We can see that I am connected to everything else in this universe, and probably I am the universe. That knowing, after the flash goes away, you still feel back normal, you still come back with this egoic mind and the problems of the world. But in that flash you saw it is there, and that knowing stays with you forever. All the spiritual paths in the world, we can boil down to two kinds of spiritual paths. The path of surrender and the path of awareness. The path of surrender is often also called as the path of love. So it is path of love and surrender or the path of awareness. These two variations of spiritual paths we will have. Now, whether it is a spiritual path or a religion, they both use only these two paths, variations of these two paths. However, there is a bit of a difference between religious path and spiritual path. A religious path is about finding the God and going after the God. A spiritual path is about finding yourself, finding who am I. Because when you find who am I, you also find who is God or what is God. So there is this basic difference that spiritual path focuses on who am I, religious path focuses on who is God. Now, in spite of these differences, all the religions of the world, they also use either the path of awareness or the path of surrender. For example, Christianity and Islam, they are based on the path of surrender. In Christianity and Islam, both, there is a messenger or Messiah, and he is a messenger of God. He delivers the message of the God, and then you have to follow that message. There are many messengers of God, starting from Moses and maybe Abraham and Moses, and finally Jesus for Christianity, and for Islam finally Muhammad. Now the interesting thing is that in this path of surrender, you don't question the messenger. Whatever the messenger has said, that is the final truth. In the sense, for example, in Islam, Muhammad came and he said that, this is the God's message, Quran, and I am God's last messenger. That's what God has told me. So there will not be any messenger after me. So that's what Islam believes, that in Islam, there can never be any other further messenger after Muhammad. That's it, matter ends there. No update of religion. Absolute surrender to the messenger. And the same is true with Christianity. However, Buddhism, for example, is the path of awareness. In Buddhism, all the practices are designed to raise our level of awareness. So when you are aware about who am I, eventually you will figure out who is God or what is the ultimate truth. Now, then there is interesting the Hinduism, because in Hinduism there is a combination of both the paths. You know these words Vedas, right? So Vedas are the 4 books of Hindus. However, there is something called Vedanta. Vedanta means at the end of Vedas. So there is called Advait Vedanta. Advait Vedanta is non-dual path. Now that is a path of awareness. And then there is, there are devotional paths like devotion to Krishna, devotion to Shiva, devotion to Rama or different gods. These are paths of surrender. So in Hinduism, you will find a combination of both these paths. Anyways, our concern is not a religious path. Our concern is the spiritual path. And when it comes to spiritual path, as I mentioned, the choice boils down to one of the two, the path of surrender or the path of awareness. However, I would like to say that many people, they are struggling because somehow they have found very interesting teaching of a master, but it is on the wrong path for them, because their design, maybe your design is for the path of awareness and you are following the path of surrender, or maybe your design is for the path of surrender and you are following the path of meditation. So many people, they are not able to meditate and they feel, oh my God, this is so difficult and I am not achieving anything from this. That is probably because you are designed for the path of surrender. And the same opposite is also true. Many people, they go to they do this devotional practices, they do prayers, and it feels like something within doesn't feel right. That is because your path is, you are not designed for the path of surrender. You are designed for the path of awareness. But to be able to do that, you need to have access to different varieties of path. For example, I was talking with some of my friends who were already adults when it was Soviet Union. So they know the life of how it was in the Soviet Union, and they would tell me that we had some small shops where you could find one kind of bread or maybe two kinds of bread. You go there, you stand in the queue, and and you had to choose this bread or that bread. That's it, matter finishes. You know, the bread that we eat. Now, you would choose this or that because only they were available to you. Now, whenever you go to this old Soviet Union countries, CIS countries, and to any of the shops, you see like a huge, like before it would be a shop, now it is just a section as big as the old shops of different kinds of breads. Now you have a choice. Now, my point is that normally we can only choose from what is in front of us. What if, I mean, you choose a teacher or a teaching because that was available to you. What if there were other teachers or other teachings and other masters and other practices which would work even better for you, but you had no access to them? They were not on the menu for you. So friends, here I want to share with you some information about different kinds of teachers and teachings that we have here, that where, you know, some of them have died, some of these teachers have died, some of them are alive, some of them have died centuries ago also. But there are a couple of places on the internet. There is one place I would recommend you where you can find the information of so many of an authentic real teachers plus different kind of teachings. And I would recommend you to just explore before you find your spiritual path. Why don't you only explore the possibilities that you have? Because see, if your choice was dependent on what was in front of you, it was not probably the best choice, best decision. Maybe you might find a totally different path or a different practice. So I am not recommending you any practice at this stage, at least in this video. I am recommending you to explore various possibilities. So here I will be also sharing this link. This is called Saralo's Guru Rating Service. It looks very funny. It's like, you know, there is booking.com and other websites where you have rating of different hotels and 5-star and 4-star and 3-star. This guy is also kind of rating different masters and teachers, but it is not about the rating that I am suggesting you this site. The reason I am suggesting you is that in this one site you will find a list of all the influential or masters who have lived here and who have contributed something. And of course the ratings this guy is giving, he is giving from his own experience or his own exploration. I am not asking you to follow the ratings. I am asking you to explore variety of teachers and teachings before you find your spiritual path. For example, you see there are 3-star ratings here. He is showing 3-star ratings for different masters. He himself is a sannyasi of Osho, and obviously it goes without saying that he has put Osho in the 3-star rating. And there are other some like Babaji and Papaji and Ramakrishna Paramhansa, Ramana Maharshi, all this, Nisargadatta Maharaj, all this he has put in 3-star rating. And there is 2.5 star and then 2-star and then 1.5. From 1.5 he believes that this is bogus or not giving the, like, not really helping their students. And then 1.5, and this he is saying, like, you can see his ratings like bogus or may have some value, who knows, worse than bogus, no value, suspect. Likewise he is giving rating. Anyway, you don't trust rating, you use it only for exploration of various masters that are or that were. And at the same time he is also, if you see, he is also putting in the brackets M, A or D. For example, you will see that Nisargadatta Maharaj in the bracket is A. So A represents Advaita Vedanta, but Advaita Vedanta is connected with path of awareness. Then you can see, for example, there is Neem Karoli Baba. So this Neem Karoli Baba, he is writing D. So D represents path of devotion. That is the path of surrender. And then, for example, for Osho there is M. For Babaji there is M. So M represents a path which is mixture of both awareness and path of love. So likewise, he has used, he is giving information and links. So basically it is not just the listing of masters, but the links with the information about them also, plus this man's personal views. This is a very, very primitive website. It was made many years ago when internet was new, and he keeps on adding, but at least you will get on one table all the links of all the different masters and their teachings. And this is like a task for you, a work for you for at least couple of years. If you explore that rightly, it will take you more than 1 year or 2 years to be able to explore everything correctly. That's all I want to share with you today. My aim was to introduce you to two possible paths, the path of awareness and the path of surrender, and for you to think about what could be your path based on your energy. And at the same time, I wanted to offer you various options for them. Of course, in the next videos, we will go deeper with the path of awareness and the path of surrender and some practices for them. Until then, have a great weekend. Thank you very much.